big takeaway from this transition from enlisted to officer is that now I'm no longer paid to obey orders. That's no longer in the tagline. I'm paid to know when to disobey orders, because my period, that sentence stops at supporting and defending the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, even if that means the bureaucracy that's telling me to do something. So this is, again, where I had to really zoom out and see, oh, so as an enlisted guy, when they said this is unlawful, they're saying I can't do this because it's an unlawful order, it's an illegal order. I'm saying it's unconstitutional, and I can't give this order. I can't follow through on this order. So I went to every single person in my shop, my command. We were the training detachment. We trained an undersea SEAL team down here in Hawaii in land warfare and combat swimmer and all these other things. And so I went to all my staff, all their different departments, and I was like, look, if anybody hasn't gotten the vaccine yet and they don't want to, I will be the lead officer to take all the slings and arrows for you, because I know this isn't right. And so I will stand for you for that, because it's an illegal order, and I'm not gonna make you guys follow it, and I'm not gonna issue it, and I'm not gonna support it.
That was a monumental stand like I've never seen. And we'll even touch on that a little bit more in a second. But what happened, because I know you had said, here we are, a brotherhood, and I have admirals and stuff above me who like turned on you. What
Right. That was the betrayal factor of the whole thing, because we're supposed to be a brotherhood. So I expected at least the other SEAL officers to say, all right, Drew, let's have this conversation. Okay, you want a religious exemption? I'll back you up for it, because I know it's important to you. I know your faith, and I know your performance here. So this should be a no-brainer. And according to the regulations, when somebody submits for a religious accommodation, the default answer is supposed to be yes. I'm going to endorse Drew's package as it goes all the way to DC to the admirals over there. Yes, Drew can get a religious accommodation. We can continue to meet mission, which is train the undersea SEAL team out here, if Drew remains unvaccinated. So their answer should have been yes, according to the regulations. But their answer was no. And again, they didn't have the conversation with me about it. They didn't look at the regulation, or they just flat out went against it. So this is where I was like, well, this is why I feel so betrayed, because what they're trying to do is get their fit reps, their OERs, their reports, their annual reports, to when they get looked at for a promotion board. Well, how many guys were in compliance? I could talk about this later on the deployments and things that I've had. But towards the end of my deploying career, I could see that it wasn't about winning overseas. It was about getting metrics and numbers so that the commanding officer could make the next rank. That's really how guys get promoted in the military. And so now that we're battling COVID, the big thing that they would want on their reports was how many people were compliant. And so if you didn't have 100% compliance, then that means you were a bad leader. And I was not going to fall on my sword and go get a shot just so that somebody could report to the admiral that everybody's 100% compliant. That's what they were looking for.
Right. Now that makes more sense. Yeah, it was their personal gain. And I even remember learning that they had rubber stamped not yes and then check it out. For 7 years, no one had received a religious exemption, which says something right there. Yeah.
Right. And what's so hypocritical was you can get a religious exemption for almost everything else. It would amaze you how many times, if you walk around a military base now, how many guys have really long beards. Why? Because they just submitted for a religious exemption. They're a pagan and they worship Norse gods. And so therefore they want a religious exemption and grow a beard. And the default answer, like I said, is yes. So a bunch of people walking around not in regs at all because of the religious exemption program. But when it came to this vaccine, they were rubber stamping everything no.